Hello and welcome to O'Delly Talks Books. Today we're going to be talking about Quicksilver, written by Callie Hart. This book has gotten some mixed reviews, but primarily are positive. Goodreads, last I checked, had it at a 4.3 star rating out of 5. TikTok definitely loved it. It blew up on Book Talk for a while. The negative about it, from what I could find, is that a lot of people were saying that it was sort of recycled. They felt like it was predictable. The tropes were reused. I feel like at this point there's so many different romantasy books that are out there that they all pull from each other. So the more that you read and stay in the same genre, the more that you're going to see overlap. There's only so much really that you can add, in my opinion, or even make uniquely yours. I feel like Callie did a wonderful job with this book. I personally give it 4.5 stars, so right there with Goodreads and most of the people that read it. The world building, I felt like it was just enough. It didn't feel overwhelming. I definitely felt like I knew where we were within the story and I could follow along and keep pace. So I did enjoy that. Some of these romantasy books, it feels like it's chapter after chapter after chapter and it just drags on. There's so much world building and it takes a while for the story to really get going. I didn't get that feeling with this book. The character development was wonderful. The characters have wonderful personalities. They are uniquely theirs. They really come to life on paper. The main male character, Kingfisher, he is that dark and broody, sarcastic and witty. The female main character matches him, same energy. She is also very sarcastic. She's witty. She's got her comebacks. She's bold. She's there. She's present. I do like her a lot. She came across very well on paper. So overall, I think the story was great. I kept wanting more. There were some parts within the story that took me by surprise. I didn't see it coming. There were parts that they were great. So the book ends on a cliffhanger. Rightfully so. It leaves you hooked. You can't wait for the next book to come out. Thankfully, the next book is out, so you don't have to wait. You can dive right into the next book. The first time that I read the book and went through it, the second book wasn't out, and I was so very bummed out. I wanted to dive into the next book. Like, I needed more, and it wasn't there. So the waiting was awful. You don't have to wait. You can just dive in, and I recommend that you do. I listened to it on Audible, so I am a big audiobook girly. I have a long commute, and I also enjoy listening to audiobooks when I'm cleaning or when I'm cooking and everyone else is busy doing their own thing, or just because. Sometimes I'll listen to the books on my lunch break. So I'm big on the audiobooks. I do also love to sit in my chair and devour a book on my Kindle or devour a book on paper. I just love books in general. If you start talking books with me, we are going to start talking books. I can talk books for hours with you. So it really doesn't matter the format, but this Quicksilver specifically, I listen to it on Audible. Stella Bloom and Anthony Palmini were the narrators. It was narrated in duet style. Duet style is my absolute favorite style. Like, it is the way to go. So for those of you who don't listen to audiobooks or maybe don't listen to them often, most of the time what's happening is you have the female character who is making the voices for, I'm sorry, not the female character, the female narrator is making the voices for the different male characters within the book. When it switches to the male's perspective and he's the one, it's his chapter, then the male narrator is making the voices for the female characters within the book. And some of them do a really great job. I'm not gonna lie, there are some great narrators that do a wonderful job, but when they do it in duet, there isn't that crossover. So the female narrator will do all of the female character voices, and the male narrator will do all of the male character voices, and they put them together. My understanding off of some research that I've done is that it takes a little bit more production time. It costs a little bit more to do it this way, so that's why you don't see it as often. I wish we did, because it's phenomenal. When it comes to Quicksilver specifically, the narration, chef's kiss. They 5 stars. If it 10 out of 10, 10 stars. Like, Stella and Anthony brought these characters to life. They did such an amazing job. When I say I devoured this book, I mean I devoured this book. I was finding every reason that I could to listen to it. Whatever Callie envisioned when she was writing this book, I feel like they captured it 100%. They made it so wonderful. I listened to it originally when it came out, and then when Brimstone came out, I waited a while before I started Brimstone, so I'm actually listening to it now. But before I decided to dive in and listen to Brimstone, I actually listened to Quicksilver again, and I loved it just as much the second time as I did the first time. So the narrators are just wonderful. They really did a great job. When it comes to spice, because that's a topic, right? When it comes to these romantasy books, people want to know spice. It's spice specific. I would say it's PG-13 approaching rated R. Now, if it were a movie, then, you know, overall would have to be a rated R, just based off of some of the violence that takes place, some of the graphic content that takes place, and then of course the spice that's taking place within the movie. But if we're talking just spice alone, just those heated moments, PG-13 approaching rated R. There's definitely some heated kissing, some passionate kissing. Some of the scenes get more passionate. There are scenes where they do more than kissing, obviously, in the descriptive language that's used in those scenes is what makes me say we've left PG-13 territory and we've gone into rated R territory. Now, are they explicit? Are we talking X-rated? No, they're not that descriptive, but it's definitely not something that I would want my 13 or 14-year-old reading. As far as the frequency, you know, is it low, is it medium, is it high, or, you know, are we every few chapters we've got something going on? No, I would rank it a low. It takes quite a while for the build-up before even the first interaction, the first heated moment happens between the characters. So it's not a lot of spice in the book, but what you do get I think is satisfactory. The story definitely comes first, and the story is great. So the story alone keeps you wanting more. Now, if I had to pick audiobook versus reading, I would definitely go with audiobook. Obviously, I love to read books as well, but I think just the way that the narrators were able to bring this to life, it was like a movie in my head. It was so realistic. They were phenomenal. Now, let's talk some spoilers. If you haven't read the book, I suggest that you stop watching this video now, because I'm going to talk about specific things in the book. And if you are the type of person that wants to be surprised and doesn't want to know anything, go ahead and hit stop. Did anyone see it coming when it comes to Carrion and being Fae? When Fisher goes and gets him, thinking that it's Severus's brother, and then brings Carrion back, he's so very just nonchalant and chill and just absorbing everything like it's no big deal. And I'm like, well, what is going on with this guy? Like, he's way too chill. Granted, he is kind of like cocky. Obviously, he's just go with the flow, and I love his character. He's one of my favorite characters in the series so far. But him being Fae and how his story, didn't see that coming. So if you saw it coming, tell me what I missed. What did I overlook? Or I guess not hear, since I was listening and not reading. The other thing is Malcolm and Madra and Bellicon. They leave a bad taste in my mouth just saying their names, but I could have sworn, and I could have heard wrong, because like I said, I was listening and not actually reading, but I thought at one point when they were towards the end and all three of them were there and they were fighting with them, they kind of like ha laughed in Fisher and Severus's face, and like, you can't kill us. To kill one of us, you have to kill all of us, basically, or something to that effect. Yet Malcolm dies, and that's part of the cliffhanger. So how is Malcolm dead but the other two aren't? Somebody explain that to me. And is it just that I maybe heard wrong, understood wrong, or did it not? I took it too literal. Maybe that's what I did. I took it too literal. Any other things that you think I should have maybe paid attention to? What were the biggest things that you took from Quicksilver going into Brimstone? What were your aha moments during Quicksilver that you think are going to play a big part, or at least some part, in Brimstone? Because like I said, I'm listening to Brimstone now. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and while the resolution of the cliffhanger, right, what Severus becomes, that gets resolved, and that makes sense, and that carries over from Quicksilver. But aside from that, I don't think that there's a lot of carryover. And so, well, Elaine as well, but I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. How did you like Quicksilver? How did you like the book? Did I give it too much credit? Did I love it a little too much? Or are you right there with me? Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings. Let me know your questions. Until next time, take care.